Matt Berner or Mike Beard taking a look at one of the graded stakes races at Gulfstream Park on Saturday afternoon, the ninth race, 1 mile on the turf course. It's the Grade 3 Tropical Turf. Before we dive into the field, I encourage you to head on over to bets.drf.com. You can take a look and see all the latest as far as sign-up offers are concerned for new DRF Bets members. Bets.drf.com is the address. Let's take a look at this field. Not a big field in here, going 8 furlongs on the grass, and I think part of that has to do with the number 6 horse. And we're going to, rather than take him right in post position order, we have to start with the number 6 Heart to Heart, because Mike, we know on his best day he is, simply put, just much better than everyone else in this field. But is there any concern in your mind that maybe Heart to Heart is not the same Heart to Heart that he once was?
Yeah, maybe a little bit. I mean, obviously his last 2 races at the end of last year, they leave a little something to be desired. He didn't run particularly well in either of them. He didn't catch firm turf in either of them either. It feels like that could be a legitimate excuse for this horse. I don't know. I guess I could go either way on him, Matt. Obviously, he's better than these horses, especially when he can make the lead. And when you start going through this field, I don't see how he doesn't make the lead in here. He's the horse to beat by a very, very long way. I have some reservations, but I'm not kidding myself. He's going to be a handful in here.
When you look at from just strictly a speed figure standpoint, from a buyer standpoint, there's one other horse in the race that's earned a triple-digit buyer, and that only happened one time, and it happened on the main track. This horse, I'm not going to count the triple-digit buyers that he has earned, but it's well over 10. So there's a real scenario, and like you say, we kind of know the situation, the MO with Heart to Heart. If he gets out to the lead, he's going to make you pay. If he doesn't make the front, he's not going to go on with it. Let's take a look at the Timeform US pace projector. And unfortunately for folks that are more inclined to go against Heart to Heart, it looks like he's going to be winging it out there on the front end. I agree with you, though, from a price standpoint. Heart to Heart is not the hardiest, no pun intended, kind of horse in this race. If all of a sudden he stumbles out of the gate or he misses it, which he's done in the past, and he doesn't make the front, I'm not convinced that he's going to go on with it.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what he does, because, again, he's just so much the horse to beat in here. It's not even funny. You know, there are 2 stretch-out sprinters down to his inside, but neither one of them are exactly blazers, so you wouldn't feel like they could really deny him the lead. I mean, it feels like he's going to, assuming he breaks, he's going to get his preferred position up there on the lead, and then if he just runs his race, you know, let's be honest, he's probably going to win.
The number 1, Vici, is one of those stretch-out sprinters. Now, Vici going shorter has always been more of a nibbler. 15 times from 30 lifetime starts, second or third. He's only won 4 times. They're going to stretch him out in distance for what's the first time in about a year and change, almost a year and a half. I don't know. I mean, I kind of look at it and say maybe you're trying to just shake him up a little bit because his recent form has left something to be desired. I suppose maybe he's a pace presence, but even then, like you said, I don't think he's fast enough to run with Heart to Heart.
I don't think he is either. And he's just one of those horses who he's just, you know, he's not, there's nothing wrong with him. He is what he is. He's just not that good. And he's one of those horses where it felt like when Maker claimed him last summer, it felt like that might be a really smart claim because he had some ability, had some figures. Maybe Maker could improve him. You know what? Maker hasn't really improved him.
As far as the number 2 White Flag is concerned, here we are talking about Heart to Heart now. He's strictly the horse to beat X, Y, and Z. If you just look at it from a numbers standpoint and recency, White Flag has the highest last out buyer in the field with a 98, and he has the highest last out raw time form rating with a 115. Now, you and I spoke a little bit before we came on. I feel like White Flag has lost some races he shouldn't have lost in the past. They're going to stretch him back out to a mile for the first time since they ran him 2 starts back out in Southern California. Look, just strictly from a talent standpoint, I don't think he's that far off, but the question now becomes, is he as good going longer, is he as shorter?
Yeah, I guess we'll find out, because so far, based on his PPs, he's not. He's a better horse sprinting. They've gone long with him on turf 3 times in his career. They are not close to the best races he's ever run. So we'll see if this is the time to try it, because Clement's going to try it again, and he's going to do it this time basically off the best race this horse has ever run. To me, there's a way to look at his win at Aqueduct last time and think, yes, he ran well. But maybe that wasn't the best disco partner we've ever seen either. I sort of feel that way, and as somebody who's never been a big White Flag guy, it was hard for me to take him in this race. But he is in good form. He could get a good trip in this race. If Heart to Heart can't run anymore or just isn't the same horse, I think he's the second most likely winner of the race. And Clement has great numbers stretching out on turf off of wins. Past 5 years, 11 for 37, 30%. The ROI is over $2.30, and 5 of the 11 wins have come in stakes races. So he's done this very effectively in the past. Maybe Saturday's the day.
Curious your thoughts about Holiday Stone for George Weaver. This is a horse that has run in New York a number of times. He's run in Florida, California. He's a bit of a traveler all over the place. The thing that's been kind of just made me want to bash my head against with this horse is it just feels like whenever he's like running, he'll show up with an effort, but then you're going to have those just completely empty efforts. I don't know what you're going to get from him on Saturday. One of his better efforts, maybe he can get a piece.
Yeah, he is hard to trust. You're right about that. And he was unlucky a couple times, especially early as a 3-year-old, or it felt like he just ran really well and didn't get lucky at all. But since then, I don't know that I feel like he's improved all that much. He ran a 96 Beyer at Saratoga, 3 starts back with a perfect trip, with trouble behind him for a bunch of other horses. I just wasn't that impressed with that win from him. And other than that, his recent form is pretty sketchy.
Dr. Mounty goes out for Shug. Javier's got the mount. This is a horse that he's going to be coming from the back of the pack. He's going to need some pace to run at. I've never really looked at him as a graded stakes caliber runner. I think he's better in those listed type of stakes. And again, he's going to need some pace to really accentuate that late kick.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's probably a couple below horses like this. Every once in a while, he'll pop up with a surprisingly good effort, but I feel like these races are a little too tough for him.
When I first saw Mr. Freeze's name in the PPs, I thought it was a bit of an odd spot for this horse. You go through and you look at his pedigree, though, on the dam side, there's a ton of grass, and there's a ton of quality grass as well. He's a half to a couple of Grade 3 winners on the turf. You got a number of 6-figure earners on the grass. But then I look and see the sire, To Honor and Serve. He's by Bernardini. Bernardini, we know, does not throw anything that can stand up on grass. And then as far as To Honor and Serve is concerned, 7.5% with the first-time turf runner. So it's not terrible, but you've got a negative formulator fact here for Dale Romans. This is not necessarily a positive move for Romans over the past 3 years. First time on the grass, 4 for 77 with a 62-cent ROI. I still think there's some ability here for this horse. He won the West Virginia Derby 2 starts back with a 102 Beyer. Did it in gate-to-wire fashion, albeit over an intensely speed-friendly racetrack at Mountaineer. I find this to be a very odd spot for him to come back to the races.
I do too, and I'm with you. If he was by a different sire, more of a turf sire, I'd be mildly interested just to see what he could do. Because as you say, there's a ton of turf on the dam side, but overall, I don't love his pedigree being by that sire. And he's got a 102, 2 starts back. This horse still has to improve significantly on the grass.
The number 6 is Heart to Heart. We've already spoke about him. And the number 7, Your Only Man, goes out for Marcus Vitale. Again, this is a horse, you look at it, he's consistent anyway. His last 3 races, he's earned 88 Beyers, but that's been against lesser company. And I do wonder, is he going to be able to class up? And then also from a running style standpoint, he feels more mid-pack.
Yeah, I agree with all those things. I mean, he is one of those horses that feels like he's improved for Vitale since he claimed him, but he's got to improve again.
Conquest Big E is a main track only. We will not touch on him. Let's go to the picks for the 9th race at Gulfstream on Saturday. The Tropical Turf. I'm not clever enough to go against him. I just feel like if Heart to Heart gets out there and breaks alertly, even at the ripe old age of 8, I think he should be able to get the job done. You're going to take a little shot against him with White Flag.
Yeah, not way against Heart to Heart by any stretch of the imagination. I'll take a small shot with White Flag just because Clement's stretching him out off a good race.
We'll find out what we get if Heart to Heart is still as good as he once was. And keep in mind, this is more likely than not a means to an end for him. I can't imagine that this was the goal early on in the season, the Tropical Turf. We'll find out if he breaks alertly and gets the job done in the 9th at Gulfstream on Saturday afternoon. If you're playing this race or any of the other races at Gulfstream Saturday, DRF Bets is the way to over to bets.com. Take a look. Particularly for new sign-up members, you got also great deals. All the details are over at bets.drf.com. Schedule a post time for the 9th race at Gulfstream on Saturday. The Tropical Park Turf, right around 3:45 Eastern. Good luck.